All right, let's take a ride through French Creek State Park. Oh, it feels so good to be back out. First long ride in a long time. It's officially April in Pennsylvania. The sun is back. We have a solid 82 degrees and sunny today. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's my day off, and I am here to fully capitalize on it. Unfortunately, my schedule's been a little messed up lately, so I'm off on a Monday this week. None of the moto buddies are available to go out for me or ride with me, so today I'm flying solo. But I love my solo rides because I can take any turn I want, go any direction, ride as long as I want, stop as much as I want. It's just a good thing. That being said, I also love being out with the moto buddies. But I'm feeling like cutting through some countryside today, so let's take a right turn and see where we go. I'm on the west side of French Creek State Park right now. And I've been out here a few times. I understand the lay of the land for the most part, but it's just a really nice green area on the map. Lots of country lanes, not a lot of traffic. My kind of riding. I'm officially almost at 10,000 miles in this Scrambler XC. It's been a solid 10,000 miles. I fall more in love with this bike every time I ride it. We have a few bikes at the house. I like getting out on Jess's Street Twin. I love riding my CB, but that's more of my commuter. I call it my super commuter because it's just, who needs 140 horsepower to ride through Center City, Philadelphia? But I just enjoy having that power on tap and looking like a badass on my way to work every morning. I mean, that's what it's really about, right? It's how you feel. It's just the sound of the engine. I really love that inline 4-cylinder that's detuned a little bit for torque instead of horsepower. Because if you know anything about the CB1000, it's like a Fireblade engine with about 40 less horsepower. But it also puts down a solid 80 foot-pounds of torque. Nothing to be scoffed at, especially for a 4-cylinder. I mean, the thing gets up and go. Fun fact of the day, it's faster 0 to 60 than the Fireblade. That's pretty impressive, because a Fireblade goes up to 90 miles per hour in first gear. So that means the Fireblade won't even be shifting, and the CB can still smoke it from 0 to 60. I love that fact. And I've exercised the option a few times of seeing how quickly I can get to 60. Gotta love an interstate on-ramp. Oh, hi cows. Let's say hi to the cows real quick. I love cows. They're stinky, but they're super cool looking. Hi guys. Oh, that one looked at me. Alright, you guys have fun. I know you're enjoying the sunny day too, huh? You definitely, when you leave Philadelphia and you come out here, the smells are very different. You go from smelling hot garbage to smelling hot manure. Neither one of them are particularly attractive, but the breeze is better out here, so I'll take it. Hi guys. But I love living in Eastern Pennsylvania. Me and Jess talk about it. We're like, is there somewhere else we want to be someday? And even in Philadelphia specifically, like, we're not ready to leave. I've lived in Philadelphia since 2010. Moved there when I was 21 years old. And I still, to this day, love living there. I love living in this state. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You get some winter, but it's not Alaska. And you get some summer. It definitely gets pretty hot, especially in the city. But it's not like dreadful like growing up in Florida. I grew up in Florida the first 21 years of my life, so I don't think I would even really enjoy riding motorcycles down there. I rode dirt bikes when I lived in Florida. It was good for that to an extent. Like there's not a whole lot of development, so you could go ride motocross and stuff, but honestly, it's a lot of sand, and that kind of sucks. But there's just something about, like, the back roads of Pennsylvania. The one thing that's really cool about this state is that the infrastructure is kind of still old, like, there's just a lot of single-lane roads everywhere. You don't have as many, like, I guess you could call them stroads, or, like, multi-lane roads with a lot of traffic. Don't get me wrong, there's traffic in the city, but, like, once you get out of the city, you kind of have the place to yourself, especially on a Monday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's for sure. So there's just endless things to explore. And when you're on a solo ride, you can just scope it out. Like, I don't know if I've been on this road before. So I left the house today. I just jumped on the freeway for the first 20 miles just to get out of the main, you know, like urban zone. And then I kind of stopped in Valley Forge, started my day with a little picnic in Valley Forge. That was lovely. And then worked my way up State Road 23 for a little bit, split off onto a State Road 724, which heads towards Reading, Pennsylvania. So it heads north and west. And then once I got to just about 5 miles south of Reading, because that's a big urban zone too, I started heading south. And that's where I am right now. I'm out just south of Reading and I would say west of Westchester. And I'm in like the French Creek State Park area, but I'm kind of just on the outskirts of it. So I don't really want to ride through the park as much. You know, like that's for people who are enjoying their recreation and stuff. And I got a big loud motorcycle, so I'll stick to the outskirts because the roads are relatively similar. Just out for a joyride, burning some gas in the scrambler, knocking off the rust on the brake pads. Just kidding, I ride this thing like every day. This is, oh, I am in the park. This has been my winter commuter because we've had so much wet weather. I like to ride this bike when it's raining, and I tend to ride the CB only in dry conditions. And honestly, the CB 1000 just does not like starting when it's cold outside. That engine is hard to turn over. This bike fires up every single time. It is trusty. The thing feels like a Honda, and my Honda feels like it's, well, not a Honda. So the Scrambler's been my go-to. I ride the Street Twin every once in a while too, but that's Jess's bike, so I don't mess with it too much. Hopewell Furnace National Historic Site. Let's try this place. It takes me back to Route 23, so that'll get me home at the end of this trip anyway. Sounds like the right direction to go to me. So the Scrambler has been getting a lot of love throughout the winter, but it's only got a love for about 12 minutes at a time. Because that's my average work commute. This is the first day basically since we had one good day in March where I got out for a solid ride, rode, I don't know, maybe 40 miles. But it was like one isolated beautiful day that was 75 degrees, and then it went right back to like 2 weeks of cold rain. No snow though. We haven't had much snow. We had, I don't know, 6 inches this year. 600% more than last year though, because we had like 0.1 inches last year's. I don't think it snows on the East Coast anymore. I think it's over. I don't think we're gonna get snow ever again. I'm not complaining. I'm an all-around rider. All year long. It's my way to get to work. That's how I justify it. I could own a car or I could own a really nice motorcycle. I don't own a car. I'll just put it like that. Tight little corner. Oh, these roads are beautiful. And I got them to myself. I do need to get out here on the CB though. The only hard part about the CB is it's not the most comfortable. Like, I can really ride all day on the Scrambler. The CB, I get about 3 good hours. When I first bought the bike, I made a video to see how long I could handle the seat, and I lasted about 2 hours. I'm up to about 3 hours now of tolerance, which is, it's decent. Honestly, it's better than my Honda Shadow was. My Honda Shadow, I don't know what it was about that seat, but I only could get about 2 hours before I needed off that bike. I think it was more just like the cruiser situation. You sit more on your butt bone and a little bit less up on your thighs, but that's just my theory. I don't really have a good way to prove that, except for that on this bike I have a bench seat and I can scoot around a lot, and that helps so much that I can like kind of move around and get my circulation going in different spots on my legs. Where on the CB, I think the difference between the CB and the Shadow is the Shadow you were like really locked into one position. It's kind of like a bucket. And the CB is fairly flat. It's stout, it's not a bench, but it's flat enough to where I can scoot left to right, and I can really like, you know, let off the pressure when I need to. It's just not as ergonomic as this bench seat is. But it honestly, for a sports bike, I think that bike is extremely comfortable. The fact that I can even ride it 3 hours is really nice. So I appreciate that. I'm falling more in love with that bike every day too. I just need to work on a few things. There's just like, I haven't quite figured out the suspension. Like this bike, I've got the suspension dialed right into where I want it. But the thing is, the CB is more of my commuter, so I leave it soft because I'm riding it in Philadelphia, and Philly has very rough roads, just potholes everywhere. And because, oh, dirt roads? I wonder if I should go up that. Oh, it's a service road. Because I leave the suspension super soft for like my commuting and things, it's not so good when I bring it out in the twisties. So I just need to commit. I need to commit to either it's just my commuter, which is kind of silly because it's a really fun bike to ride, or I need to just dial in the suspension. So I think I'll be ordering a little tool. I need this like special U-wrench to dial up the preload on my rear suspension, and then I can start to tighten it up, because you need to get your preload figured out before you do anything with compression. That's my next step on the CB. Other than that, I've got it all modded up. It looks pretty nice. Since I made my initial video on it, I've done like a tail tidy. I've done a little exhaust slip-on. I don't know if I'll go full system eventually. I'm kind of concerned it'll just get really obnoxious, because even this bike is pretty damn obnoxious. Oh, we got a rider. Oh, he's motor vlogging too. I saw the camera up on his windscreen. Lots of nice little things on the CB, like adjustable mini levers, things like that. I really like my 1-2 punch. I got a big old scrambler, and I got a CB 1000R. Like, that's a solid 1-2 punch. I'm really enjoying it. The hard part is I just keep wanting more. And I live in Philly, so I don't have a garage. I'm like, I want another bike. I would love a dirt bike. I need an enduro. That would make me so happy, like a Husqvarna 350 or something. That would be perfect. Or even just like the Honda CRF 300. I love the 450, but it's just it's a lot of bike. Kind of high maintenance for what it is. The 300 makes a lot more sense for my lifestyle. And the price point. I mean, the 300 costs about $5,600, and the CRF 450 costs, 10 grand? I don't know, 10 grand for a dirt bike. It's a little wild to me. We'll let him go by. He gave you a little rev. That was nice. Alright, I just turned on the shed road because he was pushing behind me, and he's on a crotch rocket. I felt bad. I didn't want to make him go slow. But I'm over here just talking to you guys. I'm not trying to go 75 down the country lane. So we're going to go down this road because why not? That's another beautiful thing about solo riding. I don't even know what direction I'm in right now. If I had to take a guess, I think I'm going east. Pretty sure I'm going east, but I haven't really been keeping up on it. I usually have a decent sense of direction though. Like back in the day, we used to go riding in this place up just north of Tampa, me and my dad would. And it was just about 20,000 acres of trails. Like, it was like a big old fenced-in square of 20,000 acres. And we would just make our own trails through, like, the single-track stuff essentially. And, because the rest of it was so darn sandy, you're better off just cutting right through the trees. Because that's pretty fun on a dirt bike, like second gear riding. Just cut through the trees and make your own trails. And I always found my way back to the parking lot. You know, like, I always kind of, like, remembered my turns as I went and stuff. And I just thought it was fun. It was like a fun game to play, like, how to like get yourself to and from and memorize your tracks. It's like breadcrumbing or something. So I kind of do the same thing when I'm out here on the streets. I just keep taking turns, and then eventually I like find my orientation and get myself back home. Plus I'm never really too far away because, you know, when you're on a city street, eventually you're going to intersect something that you're familiar with. Like for me, it's the east and west state highways. We have US Highway 1 on the south, then we have 23, and then we have 724 and 322 is in between them, and those are like your east and west. And then I think, you know, everything else is generally going to intersect that at one point in time or another. And if not, there's always the trusty Google Maps. The endless corner. Well, I think we're just about outside the park. Battery cameras are about to die because GoPros are just, they just haven't figured that part out yet. I actually think they do now sell a better battery, like they call it like the Enduro or something. But, I don't know. I'm not trying to buy it. So, for the time being, I will just make 45 minutes of content at a time, which is plenty enough to edit. For anybody who makes content, they know editing is the most annoying part. Wow, this bike just loves to take it up to the higher revs. It is not a lazy twin, that is for sure. It also can downshift like no other. Countryside to the clubhouse. It's a weird mix. Just left the state park and now I'm in a country club. Growing up in Florida, I think country clubs are silly. Just a waste of good grass. Or are they a waste of good land replaced with good grass? That's probably a better way to think about it. Fun fact though, I was on the golf team in 7th and 8th grade. Oh, that was a fun period of my life. I do love driving ranges though. I'm passing a driving range on my right. Now that is a good time. That's the best part about golf anyway, just seeing how far you can hit the ball. Right, Main Street. Oh, let's go right. Oh, I'm back on 724. Hey, full circle. That's one of those roads, one of my east and west roads. Alright, I found my way home. Alright, well I'm back on the Schuylkill River Trail. 724 runs along the Schuylkill River Trail for most of its ride. I'm going to start heading back to the city. It was fun getting back out for the first time again in spring.